it is Colin here and welcome to this video. We're going to have a live Q&A. Last week, I think a couple of days ago, I asked in my Facebook group what were the most frequently asked questions regarding CPA marketing at the moment. So right now the group is around 1,450 people. So obviously everybody who takes my 3-step training has their own unique questions. We also have a couple of bigger players right now making like $100 to $1,000 a day, meaning those have a little bit more of advanced questions, but it will be mainly focused on beginners. So when I look to my left, I have a live feed of the Facebook group. If there are any new questions in addition to this, I will address those as well. But for now, I think this is quite enough. As you can see, it's one page. Some are very complicated, some are very easy, but one pattern that I see is I will answer all the questions, obviously, but I will also rant a little bit in between, because sometimes, obviously, you can understand if I get the same question 100 times and I have to answer it every single day, I get a little bit annoyed, because when people say there are no wrong questions, that might be true in the learning process. However, I think that anybody in a coaching or teacher role should be aware of the fact that you have to push people in the right direction. So not too long ago, somebody asked, what was the question again? Suggest me the best network for sweepstakes. That's fucking bullshit. What's the best network? What's the best traffic source? What's the best software? There is no best anything. Everything is what you make of it. And as long as you stop being a little bitch and do the work instead of asking 1,000,001 questions, you will get there. So what I find interesting, like really, really interesting, is patterns. And the pattern I notice is the people who ask questions every single fucking day don't take action. There are a couple of people out there who only ask a question and it's very detailed once in a while, and they make hella progress because they're too busy doing the stuff, learning the stuff, to ask questions every single time. Like, if you have a basic question like, can you recommend me a affiliate network? Go to fucking Google. Like, I have better things to do than answer like those common questions. However, there are some very, very good questions we're going to address today. And that's why I wanted to make this video. So one of the questions which keeps coming back is about angles. Angles is that one unique factor where you as a marketer can distinguish yourself from the others. The one person who can make endless amount of angles with unique variables will become a multi-billionaire. Why? Because that's where the creativity comes in. Everybody can build a landing page. Everybody can rip images from Google. However, not everybody can write amazing copy. So what is an angle? An angle is the style of your copy. When you're saying, for instance, let's say a curiosity angle, like, I have one secret that will make you lose fat instantly. You want to know? Click here. That's clickbait, kind of, but it's a curiosity angle. You can do a proof angle. This is Elizabeth. Elizabeth lost 20 pounds last week by following this diet. The ability to create high converting copy is crucial if you want to excel in CPA marketing. Like, there's only so much you can steal. Like 2 weeks ago, I think one of my main ads, which I'm not running anymore because the audience is depleted, but it showed up in a spy tool. And a couple of people messaged me like, oh my God, your ad, because they know my domain, right? Oh my God, your ad is in the spy tool. And I was like, I'm not worried. Why? Because they can copy the image, they can copy the lander, they can copy everything. However, I got a private deal with a network that I get like way higher EPC that way because I get a higher payout. In that sense, that the same, even if you knew my targeting as well, everything, those things are not the same. Like, even I have a way more seasoned pixel than most. Taking everything into consideration, don't be afraid, just get fucking started. Stop fucking worry about everything. Just launch campaigns. Make a rule for yourself. One campaign every single day. When I started, I made the rule 3 campaigns every single day because I wanted to excel in what I was learning. I really enjoyed learning everything, but there's also times where you're just sick of learning and you just have to do. Because you start overthinking. That's just normal behavior. But let's come back down to the angles. When we look at angles, it's crucial. You have to practice, and practice makes perfect. Rinse and repeat. Sometimes I have days where I'm just walking to the gym, I think of a unique angle. I type it in my phone, and then later I elaborate on it. I build it out. But there's also like, I think the last 2.5 weeks, I've not made a new angle just because there's no inspiration. And then in one day I create 3 angles because I feel creative. I have inspiration from somebody else. And that's why it's also really important to talk to other marketers. All right, let's move on. What's the normal drop off on your funnel? So my drop off on Facebook is about 40% usually, and on Instagram 15%, which means 85% on Instagram clicks through and 60% on Facebook clicks through. That's on average. So there are offers where it's way higher. There are offers where it's way lower. It really depends on your targeting, the geo, the age range, all the different variables in the offer setup contribute to it. So there's no fixed pattern, but if you have 60% click-through rate on Facebook, you can be happy. If you have 85% on Instagram, you can also be happy. If you have more, you're really good. If you have less, you might need to work on a thing or two. Because I think my new average, because I'm very dominant in the US right now, is I think 68%. Yeah. And it's only Facebook. I only run Facebook at the moment in the US. Can you use the size of the audience you are targeting to accurately predict how long your campaigns will be profitable? Well, I won't say profitable. I will say longevity of the campaign. So how long it can live on. Obviously, what happens is over time, let's say your audience size is 100K. If you reach 10K people, you got 10 days until it's depleted. However, it doesn't work that way because out of that 100K, only 50% is on Facebook every single day. So the other 50% is contributed over the next days or 2 weeks even. Some people only check Facebook once a week. So what happens is your CPC will be low probably in the first 3 days and then spike up immediately because the frequency goes really high because the only audience is left is the audience which already seen your ad. In that way, I always take into consideration the audience size when scaling. When let's say, what was it? Like last week for Big Bang Ads, I was running a campaign in Finland. And for that specific campaign, I only had an audience size of maybe 250,000, 240,000 actually. So what did I do? It was running at 100 euros a day. Would I scale it to 500 euros and make more money faster? Could do that, but it will also die in 2 days. Maybe not even 2 days. Probably the cost will go up that much that I would just lose most of my profit. So would I rather have 300 euros profit each day over 3 days, so 900 euros profit, or would I like 500 on one day and then 50-50? That is 600. So you have to take all those measures into consideration, and the only way you're going to learn that is from experience. Like there's no way you can actually accurately predict everything. No, it's not going to happen because audiences are different, countries are different, behavior patterns are different. However, with some experience, like I know that with an audience size of 10 million in the United States, I can easily straight scale to like 500 euros a day. No issue at all. The CPC might go up like 1 or 2 cents. It's not that big of a deal. But I also know that in that sense, like if I put it at 100 a day, I can probably run it for 3 months. If I put it at 1,000 a day, I might only be able to run for a week. Because the frequency goes up, less people click through because they've already seen it, and the CPC goes up. Therefore, which is quite important. Let me see. What is the number of conversions for the 3-day rule? 9 conversions, 3 days a day, because it's 3 times payout. All right, how do you distinguish a profitable campaign from a non-profitable campaign by CPC and EPC after the 3-day rule? So what happens is, on the 3-day rule, you do 3 times payouts for an adset, which means after 3 days, you need 9 conversions to be profitable. Based on the CPC and the EPC, in that sense, doesn't matter because it depends on the offer, the geo, the payout. The 3-day rule is based because it's applicable for every scenario. It doesn't matter what the payout is, doesn't matter what the geo is, as long as you have 9 conversions. What percentage would be a good percentage to say this is profitable? Well, you can only say if it's profitable if it is profitable. So I would say 0.01% profitable. That means it's profitable. However, if you want to know a good benchmark, I always say KPI on large volume, KPI key performance indicator, at least 30%, unless you have cash flow issues, then as high as possible. But what you also have to take into consideration that any money you don't spend in a given week is dead capital, which means that is money not making money. So then I rather have less than 30% ROI, but still earning something on my dollar than not spend the money at all and earning nothing. How to do audience targeting research when running sweepstakes offers on Instagram. So Instagram is obviously quite unique. It appeals to a way younger audience. What I like to do is, I think I also discussed that in the 3-step training for the 3-day rule. I like to go with niches that I'm personally involved with. So I like gaming, I like fitness and bodybuilding, these kind of offers, health, BizUp, any business related things. Obviously with sweepstakes, you would probably focus on holidays. Gaming is really big on Instagram. So the research you often do, or I often do, I can only speak from my own experience obviously, is based on the pattern I know. And therefore, I don't know what is going to convert, but I have a increased chance of making good performing ads. So what I like to do when I do maybe fashion or like body shop, something like that, I like to run it through some female people I know. Just ask them in my target group. So I just hit them up on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I know you don't really know me, but I'm doing like a quick review of this offer. Could you tell me which image you would click and which one you wouldn't? And they would just say 1 and 6. That's it. And you should just say thank you. That makes sense. But I really, that's what I did when I started out. Right now, I just throw up the ads, let it run, make all kinds of different angles, because I test the way my cash flow allows. That way, if I think an offer could perform because of my experience, I could blast $500 on a test run in one day because I already know what could work and I have the cash flow to sustain it. Before that, I always followed the 3-day rule. It's only been since I think December that I went away from the 3-day rule because I had such excessive cash flow. And excessive cash flow doesn't mean that I have too much money. I have just more money than the 3-day rule would ever allow to use. If I would follow the actual 3-day rule with 3 times payout, I could probably launch 1,000 campaigns a day, which is not really doable for me. All right. How do you deal with the break-even adsets after the 3-day rule? Kill it. Anything that is not profitable, you kill. Why? Because else you will go in an endless loop, end up with 100 campaigns which are break even and they don't make you money. So you're putting $1 in, you get $1 out. I have better things to do with my time than just exchanging money. If I want to do that, I would just deposit money at the bank, go to the front and take the money out again. Then go inside, deposit the money. That doesn't make sense. You're just wasting your time. How do you scale it since it's break even? You don't scale break even campaigns, obviously, because the golden rule is ROI always goes down when you scale. It is never going to stay the same. So that is very stupid to scale a break-even campaign because you will lose money 99.9% of the time. If you scale a break-even ad set, would it produce the same break-even results? No. If there's any point in duplicating a break-even ad set, would produce the same results? No. That's like you say right, like you don't know, but you're not right. How do I get past the cash flow issue? Yeah, the cash flow issue is the main issue I've had since I started CPA. So right now, every day I spend the maximum amount of money. So I know that on payday, which for me is Thursday, I finish the loop. So let's say I have 100% of the money on Thursday, then on Thursday morning, the next week, I have 1% of the money. And then they deposit me the money and we go again. How do you get past it? Patience and numeric optimizing. So in that sense, I don't take enough for 30% ROI. I want at least the highest I can get. So sometimes that's 40, sometimes that's 200% ROI. It depends. Working at scale, usually when I do 30% ROI, I'm pretty happy. That is usually 30% over $5,000 for a campaign. So that's like $1,500 a day in profit, which is for me good enough. What I also tend to advise and use myself a lot is stop over-analyzing shit. Just launch fucking campaigns. There's probably 5,000 offers available in sweepstakes alone, and you don't even have spin submits and credit card submits. So stop worrying about dumb shit and start fucking practicing the 3-day rule over and over again until you master it. And as soon as you can say, I'm a master at it, you probably make anywhere from 1 to 5K a day in revenue. So there is no reason you should stray away from the 3-day rule. It's made for a beginner purpose. And what I said before is I really mean it. Everybody who has followed the fucking 3-day rule have had success. But if you doubt the process, then don't do it. But then don't fucking complain and ask a million questions, because it's not gonna help shit. All you have to do is fucking rinse and repeat the process. And obviously, like I think 5 people are like at 1K a day right now, or like close to it. And 3 out of the 5 use their own methods they created over time when they realized that the 3-day rule is good, but it's only to get you started. Like, other than that, like as I said, I don't use the 3-day rule anymore because I have more advanced metrics I use in the creation of my campaigns, in optimizing everything. But it's a very good way to get started. Okay, so how do you get cash flow? The cash flow issue? Patience, discipline, those 2 things. If you want to test more variants of ads faster outside the 3-day rule, is there a ratio of ad sets, budgets to amount, ad variations? Yeah, 1 ad set, 5 ads. If you want to test images, if you want to test on a very high scale, 1 ad set, 50 ads. But if you want to test ads faster, then I would just duplicate the ad sets, change out the images per 5 per ad set. And then you get a winner, because they're all unique, right? So you get a winner per ad set, and then create a new ad set, turn the other ones off, and put the 5 winners in one ad set to see which one is the winners of the winner. And then run that ad on big budget, on scale. Let's say you have an audience size of 200,000 Facebook ads, it's profitable, and finally down out. How do you scale profitable without using lookalikes? You don't. Yeah, you can't. If you're not using lookalikes, you can target different interests, but it's a question if it's profitable. You should have probably thought of that from the beginning. So you probably should have tested more audiences from the get-go instead of wondering about it when it dies out, which is a common rookie mistake, right? I do it sometimes myself, where I stop the testing process because it's making good money. And as soon as it dies, then I'm getting stressed and launching new campaigns. And it's just not the same, because you're taking a step back and you should have a better process that way. Also, using a lookalike, if you would, on a 200,000 audience, is not going to work. Because let's say you get a 5% click-through, or let's say probably like the good people, maybe let's say you get a 10% click-through, you get 20,000 clicks. Make a lookalike out of 20,000. For sweepstakes, I wouldn't recommend it. The ones I had, I rarely use lookalikes, right? But the ones I've had used, I think was like 500,000 clicks before I used the lookalike, and the lookalikes were just way more expensive as well, so not a fan. I loved lookalikes for e-com when I was dropshipping, but for CPA, not that much. I like to know about scaling when break even. I already told you here. So there's actually 2 different people, because I would not pose the question twice. Yeah, that's stupid. Any way to create lookalike audience when doing CPA? Yeah. So what you do is the same as any other stuff. You just create a custom audience based on the URL, on website visits. What you do is with CPA, we often use multiple domain names. So select the domain name, select the offer page, put that in, then it will acquire the landing page views usually for that specific page. So let's say you're running, what was it again? Body shop. Let's say you're running body shop and you've had 100,000 clicks on the lander and only 50% click through. Then what you say is the other 50% were interested in the offer as well. So you want all the clicks you can get. The more data, the better. You want to have a seasoned pixel to optimize, let Facebook optimize everything. So what happens is use that total audience for your custom audience. And it's just go to Facebook Ads Manager, select audiences, and then you can create a custom audience. And then from that custom audience, you create a lookalike. All right, hang on. Is it good to choose an offer with a CPC? 1.2 for start. That's a weird question. How do you already know the cost per click if you have not run the offer? Do you mean EPC, earnings per click? All right. How did I manage cash flow? All right, so let me just type it out for you. I think I've done this before in a YouTube video, but I will do it again. Because this is like so fucking important. If you run like a real business and want to make some real money, this is one of the business hustle you have to learn. Fucking hell. All right. Okay. This is the scenario. So let's say you have $70,000. Yeah? Or like, well, probably, let's say you have $700 because you guys are beginners, right? Let's say on day one, you spend 100, which means that you have 600 left. Yeah. On day two, oh, hang on, I can just copy paste that. What's happening? Okay. Day two, you also spend 100. You have 500 left. Yeah. Let me just put that all in. It's easy like that. All right. Then day three, you spend 100. You have 400 left. You have 300 left. You have 200 left. On day six, you have $100 left, which means that, oh fucking hell. Which means on day 7, although it's payday, you're still going to spend $100 until the money hits your bank account. Which means you have still $0 left, and then boom, plus, let's say 1K. And then for the next week, you can spend 1K divided by 7, which is, let me just grab my calculator. 1K divided by 7, obviously that's 142. Ooh. So as you can see right now, you can spend 142. Let's say on this, you also made 30% ROI, right? So on that 700, you're going to have 1.3. So the next payday, you get 910, right? So that's from this week, 910. Then the second week, you spend 142 a day times 7. Times 1.3, because it's 30% ROI. Then instead of 1K, this pays next week 1.292. And that way, over time, you increase your cash flow stably. That's what I did, going from 1200 to a lot. So yeah, that's the same process I do. I have a separate sheet. I calculate cash flow all the fucking time, almost every day. I check my cash flow overview because that's where the real money is for me, optimizing my cash flow. All right. Is it good to choose an offer with an EPC of 1.2 for start? I don't think that's a sweepstake. Follow the 3-step training. If you're new to CPA marketing, follow the 3-step training. It's not difficult at all. All right. How do you recommend running loan offers? I don't recommend you run loan offers as a beginner. Way too complicated. All right. Can you comment on running insurance CPA from the popular network or working with a private client, insurance brokers that I work for, to test and set up lead gen campaigns for them? Would you advise on what the pros and cons are of each? In terms of scale, what about profits? All right, so that's like a really interesting question. So let's just go with the popular network first. If you run insurance for a popular network, what happens is they're the middleman. So they're going to take their cut of the profit. So let's say they pay you $25 per lead, which means they probably earn 28 to 30, take $3 to $5 for themselves, pay you out 25. They will check the quality, they will discuss it with the private client, the insurance brokerage company, and if anything is wrong, they will let you know. When you work on scale, they take, obviously, percentage. It's not a bad thing, but what I like working with the private client directly, mainly a direct advertiser, what happens is you get a higher payout. Why? You discuss directly with the company what they need, what they want. What usually happens is they will give you specific targeting terms. So they only want 50-year-old or older for health insurance, for instance. They will tell you every single day what the quality is. If the quality is not good, you have to change it. With the CPA network in between, it might take a week for them to go over the data with you. In the meantime, if the lead quality is not good, you have a higher chance of scrubbing. Meaning, like shaving is when they remove eligible leads. So leads that are good, they just remove them, they don't pay them, which is basically stealing. But scrubbing is the quality of the leads are not good, and that's why they don't pay for them, which is very common, especially targeting the United States for any offer, basically. Working with a private client directly is what I've done before, is they will actually tell you like, hey, we got 100 leads yesterday and 20 leads were like totally garbage. Like, we're going to pay them, but please adjust the targeting to what we actually need, because we don't like this, and either we're not going to pay them next time or we don't want to work with you anymore. And then you just tell them like, oh, my bad, like, please tell me which leads they are or what the targeting was, like which ages, male, female, whatever, and I will adjust it. So if they win, you win. And with a private client, you can win big, because let me give you an example. Peerfly works with a private client, which pays, let's say, €3 for a specific geo. That same private client I work with pays me €5.50 per lead, which is almost double. Meaning, if you run the same campaign, you already double your ROI by only working with them directly. Are they sometimes a headache? Yes, because they ask a shit ton of questions about everything. However, I can also ask them for favors, because they obviously need a ton of traffic. They are connected with almost every network. They probably process millions of leads per month and therefore have a lot of money. And if they have a lot of money, they have a lot of power. And if they have a lot of power, you want to be friends with them. That's how it goes. I always say follow the money if you want to get rich. That is really important. So I think we're pretty much done. Let's just have a look-see on my left if there are any questions. No, there are no new questions. So I'm going to end the YouTube video here. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.